Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to a little spot of magic. I'm sat in a local woodland that is not far from where I live. I just show you, I've got this beautiful pond, and actually it's so overgrown you can't even really see the water. There is some water in there, not very much, but there is some. So I wanted to share a little bit about what I was feeling last week. Sat in a beautiful wildflower meadow with oak trees and a dear friend, and we were spending time sharing. And I think I just wanted to bring through sort of like, I think it's like a little message of hope, really. Because, well, we spent our time sharing really our difficulties at the moment and reflecting on how the energies felt, say, 10 years ago, at that point of our awakening where so much information was coming through about New Earth and the visions that we were holding, and the energy was so high, and yeah, just what we thought the future would be and the trajectory we were going on, and having no idea of what was going to unfold. And like another 10 years on, as an adult, a lot happens in that time as well, and it can, it was this feeling of like being worn down a little bit. And I started to reflect on, like we were both kind of saying, like I just wanna stop. I just wanna like let go. Well, I was really feeling like I've had enough. And I was hearing that around me quite a lot. People saying like, I've had enough. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. That's what I was hearing. I'm done with this. And yeah, really resonate with that. It's kind of like some of my core things just keep repeating, and I'm so done with it. And and it doesn't matter what I see, what inner work I do on myself, these things are still here. So I have to say, I'm really shifting my perception of healing and what it means to, this idea of letting go of things. And this thing, more and more, it's about integrating our life experiences and making peace with them and not being in conflict with them, rather than thinking we have to change everything all the time. I don't know. I think it's a bit of this and a bit of that. I think there are some things that they will dissolve when they're ready to. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. That's not what I was going to talk about. So I just wanted to share the message that was coming through. And so back last year, April, beginning of the pandemic, lockdown, COVID, the weather here was beautiful, and I felt such deep feminine codes coming in and landing, and the feminine energy just like taking root so strong. And what I felt at the time was like anything out of alignment with those feminine principles was just going to have a really hard time surviving. So I did a little energy report thing about the solstice energies, and there was this thing around the building blocks of life. It was like they're changing. And then, as I was tuning in the other day in this beautiful meadow, what I was feeling really clearly is like the masculine energy. And if you've been on this journey for a long time, you know that out of balance masculine energy that the world has been running on, we know it's changing, we know it's falling apart, but sometimes it looks like it's winning, I think. Like it's getting stronger. But that feeling of like, I'm done, I could feel it in my nervous system. Like that masculine pushing energy is done. It's so done. It's like it just can't be done anymore. feel like I want to tune into it and see what it wants to say, rather than me just bringing through what it was that I was feeling. But I'm going to carry on with what was coming through. Maybe I'll get to another point where it starts to naturally come through. But yeah, so just feeling it so deep within my nervous system, and just, like, not just my nervous system being the nervous system that goes back generations and generations and generations, that has been living in this patriarchal society, this way of interacting with life, and the harshness of it, so devoid of these feminine principles of beauty and nourishment and nurturing and deep connection to nature and nature wisdom and the wisdom of the feminine knowing, and and the sexual principles, and just there's so many aspects of life that have just not been acceptable and not been honoured. And it's done. I was feeling that so clearly, it's so done. And I think it was almost a shock in that moment. I feel really emotional saying it as well. Just how deep that runs within my own system. So I fully understand, well, I don't fully understand, I'm learning about the feminine principles. I'm being taught about the feminine principles and what it means to live from that. And it looks so utterly different from what we've been living. And so it's a little bit scary to give up an old way of being in order to, I saw at one point a while back, it's like this masculine energy as well. It doesn't want to give up. It's, we've invested so much in creating a world based on these principles. And so sort of to give that up is actually much more difficult than we would think. We say we want change, but actually it's challenging to allow these old patterns to change. But they are changing, and just heard the words then, organic ascension. And it's like this journey that we're going through, especially as we enter more into the feminine principles, it's a much more organic, it's happening. It's, and I'm just seeing technology at the moment, and I think I have this feeling in this moment that the technology that's coming through right now, some of it might seem really scary because a lot of it's being created through the old patriarchal belief system, and so it looks really scary, but it can shift and change in a moment to becoming much more harmonious with living with nature. So it's not going to be, this technology that's coming through is actually going to be very beneficial for the future of humanity when these big shifts really land. I mean, they are landing, but it takes so much longer for things to come through in the physical world. Okay, so anything else I wanted to share around the shifting? Yeah, so just what I'm hearing is just be so compassionate with yourself for anything that you're feeling right now, for what you're going through, for just so many of the structures are falling apart, and it could well feel like a really big battle within you, and that life is a struggle, and it's painful and it's difficult, because this other way of being is so different to what we've known. Like, we're becoming more and more sensitive as well, and we're feeling more and more, and so it becomes more and more intense. But that's so that we can become so deeply connected with our feminine essence, but it's not that the feminine essence is taking over and is going to be the dominant force. We're going to be, it's going to be a harmonious relationship between the two, but we have to get to know, firstly we have to get to know the feminine in its in its true essence, and then the masculine in its true essence as well. But I think these two things happen together. Okay, anything else? I'm really feeling the earth. It's so lovely because I felt really quite disconnected. And this is what me and my friend were saying the other day, and actually it was a real relief for me to hear somebody else saying it that I know has a deep connection with the earth. But she was like, I don't feel it like I used to. And I was like, I don't feel it like I used to. And then I sat down in this field and I just really let my nervous system drop. And then I started hearing again, and it was that simple. And I think we were reflecting as well, like how much more time we spend on our phones now. And there is a lot more frequencies around, but yeah, so slowing everything right down. It's a beautiful bumblebee, just the other side of the camera then. That's a nice affirmation, just to be coming into that being essence and just slowing right down, allowing the nervous system just to drop, to soften, to relax. So I came out on my walk today, and I've just been walking really slowly and coming. I just want to talk really slowly now. Like we just need to slow right down. And I really felt that over the solstice for me. I was like, I did go to a very beautiful ceremony, but apart from that, I was just like, no ecstatic dance, no like full on energy. I just needed still, slow, inward time. So yeah, I've just been taking time to sit and just look and receive the feeling of the branches and the leaves moving in the breeze, receiving this glorious green. I mean, it's just so fertile and beautiful here. Yeah, I'm really stunned by the beauty of this little woodland. It's really ancient oaks, and it's just, there's lots here. So yeah, really giving yourself time to slow right down. Doesn't mean don't do anything, but to maybe slow down the way that you do things, and so you're cultivating a calmness within yourself as much as possible, maybe through breath work. Breath work feels so important right now, and that could just be as simple as sitting and just taking time to feel your breath, breathing into your belly, up into your lungs, and letting everything go, and just sitting doing that. Or alternate nose breathing, or maybe you want to do something a little bit more Wim Hof and a bit more, because I like that as well. I like going into that state where I just hold my breath. I'm not even holding it, there just is no breath, and there's no thought, and the body just, relaxes. So I think, and of course, what am I going to say? Get out in nature, which sometimes I feel like I don't do enough of as well these days. My jewellery work has taken me indoors into my workspace a lot more. But it's very beautiful to be bringing through beautiful frequencies. So yeah, grateful for that right now. Okay, anything else with this? Trust. I'm hearing the word trust. How much can we trust this process? And yeah, that keeps coming. That's always coming through to me, and it's been coming through for years, But it's a principle that we don't. It's a really hard one, I think, to shift into, because until we connect to life in a really different way, where we see its beauty, we see its nourishment, we see its holding of us, its support of us, until we realise that is really true, it's very hard to shift into trust. Can we really trust what's happening in the world right now? Can we really be at peace with it as it all... Oh, that was nice. I just looked at how long it was, like 5 seconds ago, and it was about 14:44. Can we really trust? Anybody who's a number nerd like me is probably connected to the 144 or 444 energies. Yeah, so cultivating this level of trust. It's a little hoverfly. Oh, it's actually on the camera, on my phone. Yeah, cultivating trust. I think laying on the earth as much as possible and just stopping. I really want to make that a practice. Or I have a habit of walking with my camera and photographing things, and I just walk and walk. And it's not that often that I really just stop and to feel. I think I used to do it a lot more, so that's something that I'm going to do a lot more of, is just coming into presence with the moment, witnessing the movement of the plants around me. Just as I said that, the wind is moving all the beautiful fern. It's so lovely. Okay, so I think that's feeling complete for now. Okay, so is there any message from this space? I'm sat under a really lovely beech tree. I've been coming here. Yeah, it seems to be where I'm drawn to often when I come to this woodland. And now it feels like a bit of a secret place because I had to walk through the ferns, and like within a week they've just overgrown. You can't even see the path anymore. They were like up here, they're really high up, so I had to make my way through those. Oh yeah, so any message from this space here now in this moment to come through? Be you to, it's beautiful, but what's another way of saying it? It's like be you to the full. Yeah, it's really dropping into who we are at this time and coming into more and more integrity with who we are, following our own heart, our own path. You know, that's the way the world changes, when we all come into our authenticity with each and every moment as much as possible. Okie dokie, so much love to you from the woodland. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again really soon, because it's so, I love doing this. I really I don't smile this much all the time, you know, and but when I do this, it just feels right. So much love.